Arc browser's mobile app recently came out, and it's not a typical browser. It's completely changed how I use my phone. Let me show you what it can do. Hey, how's it going? My name is Shu. I've been a huge fan of Arc browser for a while now. Its sidebar, split screen, and the stunning design made me fall in love with it. And now its mobile version is finally out for iOS, and it's not like a typical browser, you know. So if you're a Mac user, you might be using an app launcher such as Alfred and Raycast. They let you open any apps and files and do lots of other magical things in an instant. To me, Arc browser on mobile is kind of like that, but with an ability to organize apps and bookmarks. So when you install Arc on your phone, it automatically syncs with your desktop Arc and recreates your sidebar, which is these groups of websites, notes, and canvases you have. And this is essentially how you organize your internet life. You can make multiple spaces for different projects or areas of your life. For example, I have a space called Base, which is where I do general browsing and curate my favorite websites and tools. Then I have another space called Inbox, which is a list of articles, videos, websites that I want to check later, read or share with my friends. And then I have a space called Tokyo, which is where I check what's happening in the city, like events and the new restaurants. And finally, I have a space for research. For instance, I made a folder for this video in which I collected relevant articles and websites, as well as a canvas where I curated highlights from these articles so I can use them for the video script. Lastly, this is where I actually wrote the script. You know, of course, writing stuff is much easier on the desktop app because you can use a split screen, which makes writing a breeze. Anyway, the best thing about having the access to the sidebar on mobile is that you can instantly open a specific part of any app and website. What I mean by that is, for example, I can open my favorite playlist or podcast on Spotify with just a few taps. I know you can do something similar by holding the app icon, but you can customize which page you want to open easily with Arc. Also, many apps still don't offer this menu feature, whatever it's called, on your home screen. Alright, let me show you other examples. I can quickly navigate to my Amazon wishlist or the order history page, and also I can open the watch later list on YouTube in just a second, which is awesome. All my favorite playlists on YouTube that I want to watch when I'm stressed. And then if I see my business folder, I can open my emails or things like my content calendar on Notion right away. This is very useful because I can access this specific page in an instant. So if you have favorite pages in Notion or any app, it's going to be helpful because it lets you access them super quickly. And if you use ChatGPT, you can create a link to a specific thread. For example, I just created this thread called Stardew Valley Expert Bot, which is literally where I ask questions about Stardew Valley. You know, it's a super popular, relaxing video game in case you don't know. Likewise, if you have a specific thread you use often, you can access it from Arc instantly. Anyway, I can go on, but you can see how this is great as an app launcher because you can create a link to a specific part of an app and organize them with folders and spaces. So if you want, you can even delete most of the apps on your home screen and just have an Arc instead because you can use it to open most of the apps. That's what I did actually. I got rid of Spotify, Notion, Twitter, Instagram, and a few more, and added some widgets because they are useful and aesthetically nice. Oh, by the way, this is one of my favorite apps, Aura, who is a sponsor of today's video. Aura is a new all-in-one mindfulness and sleep app. It offers a massive library of meditations, stories, breathwork, and life coaching sessions by experts and therapists. It's like a Spotify for your mind. There are many ways to use it, like helping you fall asleep and calm your anxiety, but in my case, I do lots of breathwork to control my glucose levels. I've been tracking my glucose level since I read some books about it and learned how it affects your mental and physical health. And breathwork is surprisingly effective to stabilize your glucose levels, especially this one called Bee's Breath, which is only available on Aura as far as I know. Every time I do this, I can see a drop in my glucose levels or more steady levels. Anyway, of course, it's not just breathwork. It offers a lot more tools to improve your well-being, so check it out. I'm sure you can find something useful. Plus, they gave me a special discount code for us. The first 500 people will get a free trial and 25% discount. I leave the link in the description so you can start using it right away. Thanks! Okay, let's get back to Arc browser. Another way to use this on my phone is as an inbox. Like I mentioned, I have this space called inbox where I save all the things I want to visit later, to read, watch, or to share. You can save any item to this list using the iOS share sheet. So when you find a cool website you want to check later, you can directly save it to Arc. Then you can access it later either on your phone or on your Mac. Oh, this is another thing I love about Arc. the sync speed is insanely fast. It literally takes a second to sync the data between your phone and your Mac. So if you want to share a link, it's probably even faster than AirDrop. By the way, I forgot to mention, since this is a web browser, you can of course do some Googling as well, and then continue on your laptop if you like. But unlike typical browsers, you cannot have more than one tab open at the same time. Once you're done browsing, you have to close the tab to start the next one. But I don't find this a problem because you have an option to pin the page if you want to keep it. I think it's actually a great idea because it stops you from having too many tabs open and creating a mess. So far, it all sounds great, but of course there are some things that I miss. For example, it doesn't have an ad blocker, so you have to go through tons of ads and pop-ups, which makes me not want to use it for browsing. Also, you cannot create a new note or an easel. An easel is that canvas thing that I showed you earlier. It'd be great to be able to make a quick note and take memos on the phone. And then you can't rename the pages, so you have to do it on the laptop. Also, you can't change the icon for the folders, which is why I have to include an emoji in the titles to make it easier to distinguish them. But even though Arc might not have some of the features that usual browsers have, it's already powerful enough to have completely changed how I use my phone. It's still an early version, but it's already such an incredible tool. If you're an iPhone user, you should definitely give it a try. It's free, and combined with the desktop app, it's a perfect duo. Alright, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!